being here. Mr. Becker, when interest rates go up, the price of government bonds, especially long-term, long-maturity government bonds, goes down, doesn't it?
Yes.
And you don't have to be Einstein's cousin to know that, do you?
No, you don't.
Okay. Now, your bank had 55% of its assets invested in government bonds, didn't it?
Roughly, yes.
And the Federal Reserve raised interest rates, didn't it?
Yes, it did.
And the value of your assets went down dramatically, didn't they?
Yes, it did.
Okay. And you didn't have hedges, did you?
Senator, as previously mentioned, the decision around hedges was made by our Asset Liability Committee.
Mr. Becker, you were the CEO of the bank. You didn't have hedges, did you?
Senator, there were hedges that were put in place, but I don't recall the details around when they were put in place.
You're the CEO, and you had 55% of your assets in government bonds, and you don't know whether you were hedged or not?
Senator, as previously mentioned, I don't have access to my SVB documents, so
well, I know that, and I wasn't CEO. You weren't hedged. Now, if you'd bought those hedges, that would have cut into your profits, wouldn't it?
Senator, I don't know the details of the decisions that the team were evaluating.
But if you bought a hedge, the hedge cost money, and it would have decreased your profits, wouldn't it? Do hedges cost money?
Yes, they do.
And so if you bought hedges, you'd have less money, right?
Senator, it depends upon, yes, they would cost money, but it depends upon how the hedges
And if you'd made less money, that would have affected your bonus, wouldn't it?
Senator, our compensation was predominantly.
When a bank collapses, the ripple effects are massive, but when that collapse is tied to clear, avoidable mistakes, the questions become pointed, even brutal. In today's video, we're breaking down a fiery Senate hearing where Senator John Kennedy grilled former Silicon Valley Bank CEO Greg Becker. From risky bets to taxpayer bailouts, this exchange exposes the staggering missteps that led to one of the most talked-about bank failures in recent history. It all starts with a simple economic principle. When interest rates rise, the value of long-term government bonds falls. Everyone in finance knows this, and Senator Kennedy made sure to remind Becker of that. When interest rates go up, the price of government bonds goes down, doesn't it? And you don't have to be Einstein's cousin to know that, do you? Becker agrees. And here's where the issue begins. Over half of Silicon Valley Bank's assets, 55%, were tied up in government bonds. When the Federal Reserve raised rates, those assets took a nosedive. Banks typically use financial instruments called hedges to protect against rate fluctuations. But when Senator Kennedy pressed Becker, it became clear that SVB didn't have proper hedges in place. You were the CEO. You had 55% of your assets in government bonds, and you don't know whether you were hedged or not. Becker deflected, citing lack of access to documents and shared decision-making. But the bottom line was clear. They weren't adequately hedged, and without that protection, the bank's balance sheet was exposed to massive losses. Why skip hedges? Senator Kennedy had a theory: money hedging costs reduce short-term profits, and less profit means smaller bonuses for executives. If you bought those hedges, that would have cut into your profits, wouldn't it? And if you'd made less money, that would have affected your bonus, wouldn't it? Becker of
Senator, our compensation was predominantly long-term in nature, and so I know there's been lots of discussions about compensation being short-term.
Mr. Becker, you made a really stupid bet that went bad, didn't you?
Senator,
and the taxpayers of America had to pick up the tab for your stupidity, didn't they?
Senator, there were a series of events, unprecedented events that occurred that led us to where we are today.
No, this wasn't unprecedented. This was bone deep, down to the marrow, stupid. You put all your eggs in one basket. You put all your eggs in one basket. And unless you were living on the International Space Station, you could see that interest rates were rising and you weren't hedged.
And in the end, the cost was shared by everyone. This Senate hearing pulled no punches. It showed how basic financial principles, when ignored, can lead to massive failures. It also raised tough questions about accountability, not just for Greg Becker, but for an entire system that allowed this kind of risk-taking to go unchecked. If you found this breakdown insightful, hit that like button, subscribe for more political and economic deep dives, and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode. See you in the next one.